Hi everyone. This is a special episode. I'm currently not in the studio. I'm actually moving, so I'm recording this maybe with a lower level of quality than usual. But this is because this morning I was tempted to run an experiment as I was facilitating a case discussion on Netflix that we used as the case for introducing the series of cases that we have at the Executive Master in Management at Solvay Brussels School at ULB. And that's a modular set of cases that's designed to talk about digital transformation and identify those elements that are needed for an established organization to think about how it can become digital and for people to understand what makes a difference, what are the characteristics of the firm in the digital age. And to do that, we are using things that people know, like audiovisual entertainment, as foundation to start the discussion on digital transformation so that we avoid a format that would be too theoretical and would go too deep maybe into some technological aspects when in fact we know that digital transformation is very much about practices and about a way of thinking about the business that moves away from that thinking of the chain of production, the pipeline of activities, the value chain as initially modeled in Porter's books of the 1980s, because we're now in a world where companies, businesses, organizations behave like networks of activities. Some activities are internal and some are external. And in any event, if you actually want to be very successful as a company, you will need to think about your entire set of stakeholders. And one of the things that has happened over the course of the past 15, 20 years, let's say, is the emergence also of machine learning, analytical thinking, data science for business as central to how we run companies and how we think about the business. Of course, the emergence of mainstream applications like ChatGPT and Claude and Mistral's technology and Llama from Meta and a few other things that are bringing to the public an easy way of interacting with these with these artifacts of software that generate content that can be voice or can be text or can be images has opened the discussion for how we deal with knowledge within organizations and how we hybridize human and machine intelligence in order to achieve business outcomes. And that's what makes the whole discussion of digital transformation something quite different now than it was maybe even 5 years ago when we were teaching the same thing. Not so much because of the fundamental scientific or technological transformation that we've had since, because the advances that we have with these generative AI and conversational engines is of course spectacular, but it's not fundamental. It's not we're bringing those to mainstream reality, but since they become mainstream, they also become easy to think about for people who are not interested in more technical or deeper engineering aspects of the whole thing. And the thing is that we start seeing as possible for companies to develop and deploy hybrid organizational brains that will enable those organizations to become truly learning organizations, not just organizations that are transforming their way of doing in the previous way of thinking of digital transformation, but organizations that are becoming truly, in the truest sense, learning organizations. They become active in mobilizing knowledge independently of efforts to formalize that knowledge in large knowledge bases and large systems of knowledge management that used to be all the rage 10 or 20 years ago, when people were selling like humongous databases as being the device for ensuring an organization would manage its knowledge and transfer knowledge from one generation of workers to the next. We have now a way of processing content that is not necessarily structured, that is not necessarily in the right shape, in a way that makes it usable by human organizations and makes it accessible in a very seamless way. So one of the things that I wanted to do this morning was try on ourselves as a class, because we were talking about digital transformation, try to invite an artificial intelligence to act as my teaching assistant. And that's what I did by configuring a GPT on ChatGPT. So I just gave it a number of instructions. I gave it content. I briefed that AI with that instance, let's say, of GPT with a whole set of things in its configuration, in services that it was accessing that are my stuff, in content that I provided to it, so that it could do a proper job at discussing a tiny bit of the Netflix case, which involved the whole discussion around the Open Connect appliances that Netflix is using to help internet service providers and telco companies manage the loads and the requirement of bandwidth that is caused by the fact that their own subscribers are trying to access Netflix content. And it was an illustration of the fact that when you are operating as a company like Netflix, you need to care for all the stakeholders in your ecosystem to have a healthy ecosystem so that you can support your business. So it was just one tiny part of the whole discussion. And I tried that also as a social experiment, because the idea was to invite the teaching assistant in class and to ask the teaching assistant to present itself as being part of class. So I told the class, basically, I need to present to you. I need to have somebody introduce themselves. They are in the room, but you don't realize yet. And I had one of those Jabra devices that was making it possible for class to listen to what my virtual teaching assistant was saying. And in fact, I named that teaching assistant Alexei, and I gave it a number of instructions. And right now, I'm like a few hours after this course, and I have just had a short conversation with Alexei, asking Alexei to introduce itself once again and to tell me a bit about the content, to tell us all a bit about the content that I asked, I provided to Alexei so that it could be competent in doing the job of teaching assistant. And so you will hear that interaction. I thought that it was fun to share. I had a blast doing this because it was fun to experiment on it and build it for the class. It was also quite interesting to see the reactions and see some of the feedback that I got, with people feeling surprised, and some of them even saying that they were relieved that they could hear that the teaching assistant was sometimes bugging, because the obviously network was not necessarily as good, and maybe we were at one moment in time, at the point in time in the day when there was a lot of requests on OpenAI's infrastructure. So at times it was like saying, well, I'm not sure I can help you now because I'm facing technical issues. But it was quite fun to look at the class's reactions and also to run this whole experiment. So I thought I'd share it with you. I hope you enjoy. Hey Alexei, can you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alexei, and I'm here to support today's discussion as a teaching assistant. My role is to assist in various ways to ensure our session runs smoothly and effectively. Feel free to engage with me when needed during the session. I look forward to contributing to our discussion today.
Thank you, Alexei. Can you tell me what content I provided to you so you could be competent for this session?
Of course. Here's a summary of the content you provided to prepare me for this session. 1. Detailed analysis of Netflix's Open Connect initiative. How Netflix uses Open Connect appliances, OCAs, to optimize content delivery. Strategic benefits for Netflix and ISPs, such as cost control, enhanced user experience, and ecosystem collaboration. Insights into how Open Connect exemplifies Netflix's networked organizational model. 2 key concepts of digital transformation. Transition from pipeline to network business models. Importance of systemic thinking. Data as a core asset, and ecosystem nurturing in digital transformation. Tools and frameworks for analysis, business model canvas, BMC, to map Netflix's transformation across phases. Wordly maps to visualize and analyze Netflix's strategic evolution and resource allocation. Coe's theory of the firm and its modern application to Netflix's ecosystem approach. Classroom support expectations. My role as a teaching assistant is to support timekeeping, provide insights when prompted, and track the discussion for note-taking and summaries. Let me know if I missed anything.
No, that's pretty much accurate. Can you give me a little summary of what a networked business means and how it's different from a pipeline business?
Networked business versus pipeline business. Pipeline business, definition, a linear value chain where goods, services, or information move sequentially from producers to consumers. Structure, traditional businesses operate as pipelines. 1. Input. 2. Process. 3. Output. Control, the business controls each step of the chain. Examples, manufacturing, raw materials, production, distribution. Traditional media, content creation, distribution, viewership. Network business. Definition, a dynamic ecosystem where value is co-created through interactions among multiple participants, including customers, partners, and the business itself. Structure, businesses act as orchestrators, connecting multiple stakeholders who interact directly with each other. Control, the focus is on enabling and governing interactions rather than controlling every step. Examples, platforms like Netflix, Uber, or AWS, where the business facilitates relationships, e.g. between content providers, infrastructure providers, and customers. Key differences. Value creation. Pipeline. Value is added sequentially at each stage. Network. Value emerges from interactions, e.g. data flows, user engagement. 2. Boundaries. Pipeline. Clear boundaries. Firms own or control all resources and activities. Network, blurred boundaries. Firms collaborate with external entities, e.g. Netflix embedding Open Connect in ISP networks. 3. Scalability. Pipeline, limited by internal resources and capacity. Network, scales exponentially through network effects. 4. Role of data. Pipeline, data is operational, limited to internal use. Network, data is strategic, used to optimize interactions and enhance the ecosystem. 5. Example from Netflix. Pipeline phase. DVD rental relied on a linear logistics model. Network phase. Streaming leverages Open Connect to integrate ISP infrastructure, creating a network that delivers seamless value. Conclusion, networked businesses redefine value creation by connecting and optimizing ecosystems. Unlike pipelines, they thrive on collaboration, data, and network effects, making them more adaptable and scalable in a digital world.
All right. Can you outline how Netflix's use of its important volume of data helped it think of audiovisual production in a way that was profoundly different from what was in practice before that?
How Netflix's use of data revolutionized audiovisual production. Netflix transformed audiovisual production by leveraging its vast volumes of viewer data, fundamentally shifting how content is conceptualized, created, and distributed. Here's how. From guesswork to data-driven decisions. Traditional approach. Studios relied on intuition, experience, and limited audience research, e.g., focus groups, box office trends. High-risk investments were made without precise insights into audience preferences. Netflix's data-driven approach. Netflix uses viewer data, such as watch time, pause points, rewatches, and viewer drop-offs, to understand granular audience preferences. It identifies trends like genre popularity, actor appeal, and regional viewing habits, guiding content decisions with precision. Example, the success of House of Cards was predicted using data showing high engagement with political dramas and Kevin Spacey's popularity among viewers. Content personalization at scale, traditional approach. Studios often aimed for blockbuster hits, seeking mass market appeal. Netflix's approach prioritizes a singles and doubles strategy, creating a diverse library of niche content tailored to specific audience segments. Data helps Netflix identify underrepresented tastes and invest in content that might not succeed under traditional models, e.g., localized series like Money Heist and Sacred Games. Personalized recommendations ensure even niche content finds its audience. Predicting success before production. Traditional approach. Studios often greenlit projects based on executive preferences or market assumptions, leading to a high failure rate. Netflix's approach combines historical viewing data with advanced machine learning models to forecast the potential success of new projects. Data influences everything from plot development to casting decisions and release timing. Optimizing content for global audiences. Traditional approach, studios produced content primarily for local markets with minimal attention to global appeal. Netflix's approach uses data from its global subscriber base to identify universal themes and tailor content for international markets. Example, The Witcher and Squid Game became global hits because Netflix optimized them for diverse audiences, using subtitling, dubbing, and localized marketing informed by data. 5. Enhancing viewer engagement post-release. Traditional approach. Studios measured success through box office revenue and Nielsen ratings with limited post-release audience insights. Netflix's approach monitors real-time engagement metrics to refine marketing and extend the life cycle of content. Data insights help in creating spin-offs, sequels, or cross-promotional campaigns, increasing the ROI of successful content. Strategic implications. 1. Reduced risk. Data-driven insights significantly reduce the risk of failed productions by aligning content with audience preferences. 2. Increased diversity. Netflix's ability to cater to niche interests leads to greater variety in content, breaking away from the traditional blockbuster-first mindset. 3. Global dominance. By leveraging data to produce culturally relevant content, Netflix achieves unparalleled global reach and engagement. 4. Competitive advantage. Netflix's unique data capabilities create a feedback loop where viewer engagement informs better content, attracting more subscribers and further enriching its data pool. Conclusion. Netflix's use of data revolutionized audiovisual production by replacing intuition with precision, enabling diverse, scalable, and globally resonant content that disrupts traditional entertainment models. It's a masterclass in leveraging data as a core strategic asset.
Thanks, Alexei. Would you like to share a final word with our audience?
Thank you for allowing me to be part of today's discussion. Digital transformation, as we've explored through Netflix, is about more than technology. It's about rethinking how value is created, shared, and sustained in a networked world. I hope the insights we've uncovered together inspire you to think critically and creatively about the future of business. I look forward to supporting you again. Thank you.